Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to All Over the Shop. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Todd and Brandon from All Over the Shop. How are you guys doing?
Great. How about you?
Doing great.
I'm doing great. I had the opportunity to check out your EP, Every Ounce of Energy, which came out last year, January, and totally dig the rock vibes going on that album. Super great, catchy riffs. Vocals are awesome. Kind of reminded me, I don't know if you guys had listened to those bands, but like Shooting Star and 707. Do you remember those bands?
I'm not familiar with those bands. Are you?
I think I've heard of Shooting Star, but
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's as far as it goes.
You guys will have to listen to it, but and tell me if I'm wrong, but I definitely had some of those vibes, which I dig those bands, and so I really thought
Great.
that EP was cool. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
I'm adding those bands to my Apple Notes right now.
All right, cool.
Check them out.
I definitely want to. I want to see what you guys think of that, because that's the vibe I got. Because you know, really good guitars, excellent vocals. You know, the rhythm section's tight. So Shooting Star and 707 definitely. Shooting Star more on that first tune, which I can't remember the name.
Rainy Downtown?
Yes,
Rainy
yeah,
Downtown.
yeah. Definitely had that. You know, because there's a little bit of a progressive vibe going on that one, which I thought was cool. So,
Yeah, we were going for some big rock sound for sure.
nice.
So-
Yeah, I agree. That one had some. It's layered a little more. Like, hey, pay attention because there's more going on in this one. Kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, great music. So, how did you guys get started? How did the band form? And I'm curious, where'd you get them up with the name?
Well, the band formed. We kind of started this band like late 2019, I'd say. Does that sound right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
We played together for a long time, about 50. Well, we were in a band called the Prime Ministers.
Okay.
That was like a little more, I guess, power pop, people would say, than this. And that was like a 2000s decade band that ended in about 2015. And then we took some time off, and then Brandon and I started this again with my brother Joel on drums, who was in the Prime Ministers. He kind of left right as Brandon came on board, right?
Yeah.
That sound about right?
Right.
Nothing personal.
Right.
Yeah,
His brother's a great guy.
So this time we wanted to, rock a little more for sure. And we consciously, I think, steer away from some of the stuff that band did. If something's too Prime Ministers-y, I think.
Yeah, we had that discussion
junk it.
the other day about a song. Todd asked my opinion, and I was kind of like, it's kind of giving me Prime Minister's vibe. And like Todd, you could see his face like turn green. And he's like, well, we're gonna change it right now.
Yeah. Not that I dislike
Right.
that stuff that we did. It was great, but we didn't want to just do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're trying to create a new
Definitely,
band.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're trying to be a little harder this time. So this band has kind of been going about 5 years at this point. And the name All Over the Shop came from, I think it's like a UK expression that just sort of means all over the place.
Yeah.
And like we're big students of 70s and 80s rock, and I first saw it used. Someone online wrote that Jimmy Page at Live Aid was all over the shop. I think meaning not at his best.
Oh.
I don't know if they meant strung out or he
Right.
was just a little sloppy that day. So
Yeah.
I thought that phrase was very funny, and so that's
Yeah.
we might have had the name even before the
Yeah,
band came
right.
together.
When Todd brought up the name, I told him that I thought I heard an English soccer announcer use the term like about, I think, a goalkeeper in a soccer game. Like, he's a bit all over the shop today.
Yeah.
So that made total sense to me. It made me laugh for once. So I was like, okay, good name.
Well,
Yes.
I
It's a
I
real thing.
I gotta tell you guys, when I saw the name, I thought, do these dudes all work in the factory? Like they're all like in and they thought, oh, this would be cool, or is it something else? Because I also thought all over the shop meant like you're kind of everywhere,
Mm.
or your influences are everywhere.
You know, we do sort of like cop some of that like factory vibe a little bit, like,
Hmm.
in our photos and stuff. That's just sort of like a shtick.
Yeah.
I always thought it was cool, when like Angus Young had his uniform and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, I kind of have like a shop coat that I wear when we play and
Hmm.
stuff.
I've been wearing a coverall,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Safety
um,
glasses.
I
So,
don't feel like it's total baloney because we have done, I have worked in a factory when I was,
yeah.
a teen and stuff. So it's not, it's a little bit pretentious and posery, but not like completely. Um,
Right, you're not in
but
a lab
we
suit.
are, yes, we are a little all over the shop. I mean, like our influences are not super wide ranging, but I think we, from song to song, bring a little, within the scope of 80s guitar rock. I think we are sort of, quoting different influences from here to there. Like when people ask us, what do you guys sound like? Or what music do you
Yeah,
play?
yeah.
Hmm.
It's everyone's favorite question, but, and we, after 5 years, should probably have a better answer. But
Right.
I think I've thought about it, and I think 80s guitar rock, but not even like, I think when you say 80s, people think of like skinny ties and like the Cars or
Yeah,
something. And
yeah.
I don't think it's like my frame of reference is more like mid to late 80s, right? When all the great classic rockers were all like going solo and stuff.
Right.
Um, so, it's 80s guitar rock, but one song might have, be more of like Van Hagar, and another one is more like the Cult, and another one is more like the Smithereens or something.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't feel like we ever have a very good answer for that. But
Th-
Right.
I think though that is actually a good answer because those bands had some of what I'm picking up in the music when I was listening to it. In that really good song structure. Uh, there's definitely a pop element. It's not
mhm,
like super hard rock, it's not metal or anything like that, but there's an
yeah,
edge, right? There's more of an edge to the guitars, which, like, some people, like you say the Smithereens, I think that's a really good example because they had a lot of like pop sensibility, but really good sound, kind of some
Yeah.
heaviness here and there. So yeah, and the Cult, same thing, right?
yeah,
Duffy on
Yeah.
guitar was like fantastic, right? And sometimes they'd flow between, because what's their, is it Ian? I can't remember his last name.
Asbury.
Yeah, he sort of
Yeah.
had like a Jim Morrison kind of vibe sometimes,
Yeah.
so
Right.
you
Yeah.
get that a little bit, but then more rocking and less, psychedelic craziness. But
Mhm.
yeah, so
those
those are good
guys, those
references.
guys were kind of cool because they could do different things too. I mean, they have one record that sounds like AC/DC, and
Yeah,
like you said, another one that's, more like the Doors, or,
Yeah.
something else. So
That was one of our first bonding points, I think, was us both liking the Cult and talking about the album Electric and being
yeah,
like, oh my gosh,
still,
I love that top to bottom. Yeah,
yeah,
so do I.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just thought of another band you guys should check out, which has similarity to your sound, and it's a band that never really got huge, but I saw them open up for live, and their name is Earth to Andy. So if you can find any of their
Wow.
music, um,
Earth to Andy.
yeah, again, like you guys got like great vocals and good hooks,
Hmm.
in the music, but slightly heavier guitars. Not, again, not like metal or hard rock, but
Right.
there's an edge, which I think which appeals to me because I like that kind of stuff. But it gets away from like you were saying, like we don't sound like the Cars. You definitely don't. I mean, a little bit of Elliot Easton and some of
Right.
the like tone, but like not not the structure. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that variety makes it confusing for people. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
Yeah.
It's like we have like metal sensibilities or something. It's like an oxymoron or something.
yeah, we right, like we like to rock hard, but
Right.
like like that Rainy Downtown song is a rare sort of like minor key almost, right? Where
Yeah,
there's
yeah, for sure, for sure.
um and sometimes
The
Brandon has to like
music,
pull
yeah,
me there a little bit.
the music can be a little bit mysterious, but meanwhile, we're just trying to be uplifting for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah, I think so. That's just who we are. We can't really front on being
Right.
downbeat,
Right.
guys.
Right.
We're trying to have fun.
So, what's your songwriting process like for you guys? Do you work together just like in a jam room and kind of come up with things, or does somebody,
We can
manufacture
do
a
it
full
that
thing?
way. This, uh, th in other bands we've had, we practiced a lot more, and I think that to a little more, led to more collaboration in the songwriting. I think this time I'm usually the one bringing something in, but it definitely goes through a collaborative process after
Yeah.
that. Joel and Brandon really add a lot, and sometimes things get, totally turned around. Does that sound about right?
Right. I think for one thing, you come in with something fairly complete, and Joel and I appreciate that because there's a million other things going on in life these days.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, a complete song. And like we appreciate the opportunity to just kind of dress things up a little bit, and take it different directions. And then Todd's not a dictator about, oh, this was supposed to be this way or that way. So it's, everybody's allowed to share their opinion about this and that.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, I maybe it's easy to not be that way because I feel like it always ends up in a better place
Yeah.
than it was.
Yeah.
So, I feel like they're our songs, definitely. Everyone puts their stamp on it for sure.
Hmm.
Nice.
Um, Joel is a big rock drummer for sure. He
Right.
adds a lot of energy and power to stuff, and I mean, it's really exciting. That's like the most fun part is, you know, taking something new to practice and
Yeah.
listening to it the
Hearing
next
drums.
day. Yeah, on the little
Yeah.
practice recorder, uh, all fleshed out.
Whatever volume we had in our head gets like cranked up.
Gets tripled.
Yeah.
So
When we
these,
include Joel. So
Well, that's honestly the key, like to any band, is you gotta have a solid drummer. You can
Mhm.
tell the bands that are probably not destined to get very far or last very long if their drummer sucks, because it's just like, oh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
I think
right.
he's in a lot of ways, he's like the main attraction. I think
Right.
people who like drums like to see him just cut loose, I think.
Nice,
And
nice.
for some people, I think it's too much.
I
I
agree.
think
Yeah.
some rooms we have kind of like blown people out.
Yeah.
I think after 5 years, I think I'm finally kind of coming around, like, maybe we shouldn't play this coffee house.
Right.
Uh, like a place without a proper PA is probably not going to be able to handle
Right.
what he's laying down, and we're not going to really compete with it unless it's like all properly
Right.
mic'd and PA'd and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
that's awesome. And I don't want him to temper it. I mean, in the past, maybe I would have been like,
Yeah.
Right.
we
Chill
gotta
Yeah.
out.
tone it
Right.
down. But at this point, I mean, let's let them fly.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it because you have to rock out, I think. So that's cool.
Um, what our friend Jim Faulkner said, you guys play big rock.
Big rock. All right.
And
Jim,
yeah.
from the Gas
Oh,
Hounds and
Yeah. Yeah.
Tigers.
Yep.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon is in another band with Jim too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul
really?
Einhaus Arrest. Paul Einhaus is a songwriter, and Jim and I are a part of his band
Oh,
too.
nice.
play
I
his
actually
songs.
just met Jim because I went to a show in Jackson where the Gas Hounds were playing. It was called Art Pop, and
Yeah.
took some photos of him there, and then saw him again. Well, actually, I've seen him 3 times now. I just met him,
Yeah.
then I saw him again at Witch's Hat because the Beggars played there, and then
Hmm.
the Beggars played at Fuzz Fest, and I saw him again. So I was like, "Oh, Jim."
Right.
There are sometimes I think like at a festival he'll be in like 3 bands on the bill or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
And I say it's Gym Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, who doesn't like Jim?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Great guy.
Um, I noticed that on your like credits for the EP that you recorded with Geoff Michaels over at uh, Big Sky.
Hmm.
How was that? Because I just to share a little story. Years ago, this was like
Mhm.
92 maybe. I recorded with my band Battalion with him, and he
Hmm.
was so awesome. And
Hmm.
I know other people have recorded with him, so I'm just curious. Like, what was your experience?
I thought he was a super nice guy and super talented at what he does. He always had great suggestions for the process and for the engineering of things. And you know, it sometimes when you get in those positions working with an engineer or somebody running the show, and there can be kind of a condescending vibe going on or whatever. But he was just like, I felt like he was just friendly, like one of the guys,
Yeah.
and helping us do our best work. So yeah, I appreciated that about him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because this was the first thing we'd done with him, and I don't even think we'd met him beforehand, or we
Uh-huh.
Right.
rolled in there with stuff. But it's every time we record with someone new, I feel like, they're kind of holding back to see, they don't want to overstep or whatever. And
Right.
then after a few days, they can figure out like, yeah, we want your input and we want your suggestions,
Hmm.
if something can be better. And I think eventually we reached that point and he, felt comfortable, suggesting things, and it made a lot of songs better, for sure. So I thought he was real valuable. And there's also a part when we're recording with someone new where, uh, and I'm not just saying this to be like self-deprecating, but like they realize that like Joel can like punch in perfectly to like fix a spot, or like Brandon like comes up with something really great, and then they get like excited, like, oh, these guys are good.
Yeah, right.
uh, so that happens too. So that's always fun. That's always, that's
Yeah.
usually on day 2
Yeah.
also when they start loosening up. And what did Geoff said something funny, like, oh, like toward the end, like, oh, I get it. It's like serious fun for you guys or something,
Yeah,
right?
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Like, and I think he meant it in a nice way. Like you take it seriously, but
But
you're
you're doing it
also,
for fun too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you care, I
Yeah.
think is
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of what
Yeah.
he was saying.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, if something's not fun, we like veer away from that and move towards something that is fun, you
yeah,
Right.
know? I
Right.
think that affects the songs and the music, the vibe of it. So,
yeah, we've been doing it long enough to realize like I don't think we need to please anyone but ourselves at this point. And yeah, there's no point trying to guess what someone's gonna like, or
Yeah.
we really just have to make it fun. And I think that's another reason we kind of started this project, is it was fun to play the rock and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
just so and it's even now it's kind of a process to remember, like when I'm working on a song, like, oh wait, this is,
yeah.
I might default to something a little more, maybe it's not my natural style, but
Right.
we always try to push it in that direction, and
We
it's usually better.
we
It's more fun to
don't
play.
Todd's right that we don't I mean, we're done guessing what other people might want to listen to or whatever, like as far as an audience goes. And it's like, I just thought of something too, like, has anybody ever use the term for a tour, blind ambition tour instead of blonde, because that would be
Probably not.
perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Because we would be on the blind ambition tour because we don't know what we're being ambitious about, but it's fun.
Right. Yeah, like we used to play, song, try really like corner people in cars and try to play them like demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this people would like this?
Yeah.
Or, members of our family and stuff. And I think at this point we just realized like we're the only ones who need to approve anything. It's
Right.
totally fine.
Right.
So just the other night we had like a song culling session. We were just erasing songs off the board that that we weren't really digging anymore. So
Right.
it was kind of brutal in a way, but in a way it's kind of fun. I'm really into self-editing and not just, putting everything out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
So,
creating a lot of like clutter, either physical or digital. It's just like,
well,
you
yeah,
gotta clean
and
this up.
it's right. I don't know, I especially like a recording project of,
Mhm.
doing like a full length is pretty grueling,
Yeah,
I think.
right.
Yeah.
Todd's better at editing than I am, so.
So, so are you guys
you
working
were
on new?
wielding the knife the other night.
Yeah, I
Pretty good.
was. I was because I felt like that was what we needed to do. And like, I'm glad that it was almost like it was insisted upon all three of us contributing some thoughts to that. But in general, like, I'm more of the like, yeah, cool, cool. That one's cool. That one's good. That one's good.
Right.
Mm.
Right. So now this culling, is this for a new recording, or is this just the set list that you want to play and you're just like, some of this has got to go?
Working toward a new recording. Just
Nice.
getting rid of some stuff that, we maybe weren't like thrilled about or didn't think was up as good as other songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just trying to focus it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of bands should do that because sometimes, you get an album and it's like that. I think maybe they thought we need 10 songs, right, for a full LP. And, it's the 10 songs that they have, or,
Right.
10 of the 11. So
Mhm.
maybe you should spend a little bit more time or maybe do an
Yeah.
EP of 6. I don't know,
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's harder as you get older and go on because, it's like, do we already have a song like this?
Yeah,
Oh,
Or
right.
have we
Yeah.
already written a song like this? Or am I
Mhm.
singing the same thing that I
Right.
did two EPs ago?
Right.
Yeah, we've had those conversations of, does this sound like anything else from our past writings?
Right.
Yeah.
So trying to keep it fresh and yeah, just give people our very best stuff. And then I don't know, I think when you're playing a show and there's a song, you see the next song on the set list is something not not real bulletproof, it's just not fun.
Yeah.
I like going out there with, whatever, 9 songs that I know are all pretty tested and tight. But we do, lately, like this summer, we did play a bunch of new songs in the set, and some of the shows were a little rocky
Yeah.
as a result,
Right. Yeah.
or not, not the most
Mhm.
enjoyable because we were kind of trying stuff out. But it's valuable because if a song doesn't give you a great feeling playing it,
Yeah.
maybe it should go, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
And we played some of those, so.
Yeah.
But then
Were
if
some
you
of
play a
those the
song
ones
and
that
it
got
feels, yeah, oh yeah,
culled?
yeah. I never forget when I feel real bad on stage.
Right. I know.
Like,
For some
oh.
reason, those memories linger a lot longer
Yeah.
than the good ones. But,
We also played a show. We played at a bar in Saginaw that um, we didn't realize until closer to the show that they wanted us to do 3 sets,
Oh,
which like for an original band is kind of wild.
yeah.
But we just barely had enough material to stretch it out, and we survived it. Um, but what was my original point with this? Talking about having a good set list. Yeah. Oh, playing. Oh, yeah. I learned that playing 2 sets is great. The
Yeah.
second set is the fun
Mhm.
set. Like, and we never ever play 2 sets. Like
Yeah.
no one around here is
No.
having bands play 2 sets.
Yeah. Huh.
But the second set was like the most enjoyable 40 minutes on stage in years. Because and I realized like I'm uptight through pretty much every set we ever play
Yeah, right.
because it's the first set. It's the
Right.
only set.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second set is where it's at. So I don't know. Maybe we should play more. The
I
third
don't
set
know.
was hellish though.
I agree. It was the sweet spot. I didn't think the first set was bad or anything. And I was one that mentioned too how tired I was during the third set. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I just like showing my age or something?
Yeah.
But it was a sweet spot right in the middle. Like, hey, we're warmed up, we're loose and ready to go. I've had my couple of beers and I'm, feeling good about this.
Yeah.
So,
It didn't help that it was probably like 90 degrees in the
oh, yeah, no AC. Yeah.
by the third set. We were
Yeah.
just wrung out.
Yeah.
But so that was a good learning experience too. And some of those songs, I remember the ones that felt good to play for sure.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So those will probably stick around.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. So, how did you guys get started in music? Well, what was your entry path, your journey to start playing your instrument?
For for me, I was in vocal music in school and did not realize how much of it I was soaking up because I was also involved in sports and stuff like that. And a lot of times that would take precedence over the music program. So then I get out of high school and into college and I'm like, hey, my roommate has a guitar. I wonder if I mess around with it, will I know stuff? And sure enough, I'm like, oh, I can do this. I remember some of this stuff that they taught me in vocal music in school. So that it was off from there.
I mean, was just a big, I was really into listening to music, all through high school. Finally started messing around in a band in senior year of high school. And, got a taste of, performing, and that was pretty electrifying. And then, just kept at it from there. Um, and yeah, played all through college. And, I thought like I was gonna have to quit the band as soon as I got a job. I didn't realize there was a whole,
A way
there were
to keep doing
thousands
it.
of guys, thousands of
Yeah.
working guys keeping at it. So yeah, like senior year of college, I just thought, well, it's winding down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And meanwhile, 30 years later, still going.
That's awesome. So what keeps each of you motivated to make music? Because I know there's one aspect to be, just play music, and then there's another one to want to be in a band and do all that. So what motivates you now, and how has that changed over time?
Hmm. Being creative, as far as I'm concerned, I just still like being in an original band and creating things. It just kind of lights my fire.
Hmm.
Being able to make something. So that's drives me. And, I think maybe when I was a little bit younger, I felt a bit more ambition about things and stuff, but it's real creative driven now as opposed to me feeling like for one thing I was kind of I had pretty bad stage fright and I really struggled with being in front of people and stuff like that, and it took me a while to get out of that.
Right.
um so I guess that's kind of an aside to this, but
Yeah.
I would never know. By the second set, you were so loose.
yeah, right. The second set.
Um, I would just, I know it's popular to say like you don't listen to your own music when you're done making it, but I feel like I feel like we're making the music that I want to hear, and I enjoy listening to it afterward,
Nice.
you know? Um, and that's sometimes it feels like that is really, you know, that's really the reward, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
I'm scrubbing a shower at home, and sometimes
Yeah.
I put on our stuff or something we're working on, and it's fun to listen to. So
Yeah.
that's one of the motivations for me, sure. I
Hmm.
mean, how has it changed? I think I was always into like I want to make a little catalog of music, and I think that maybe that hasn't changed. I kind of still feel that way. I mean,
Hmm.
the pile of stuff has gotten taller for sure
Yeah, yeah,
of what we're doing, but and it's an escape,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's got
Yeah.
to be an escape for everybody,
yeah,
and that's valuable for sure. Just
yeah,
makes when you got something new you're working on or something you just did, it just makes the day a little more fun.
right.
Very true. Very true.
Well, I do think that there's that aspect, like you were mentioning, as far as being creative and doing original music, in that you really are like creating something from nothing, right? There's nothing else out there that sounds like that. I mean, there may be, people hear references, like I mentioned certain bands, but that isn't the sound of that band. You're not copying them. You are creating something brand new, and that's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I still think it's magical that people can do that and just come up with this stuff, and then people listen to it and go, wow, this is awesome, right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if it just means that you yourself get the accomplishment of, like, I started with a blank slate. I put some notes together. I put chords together, lyrics, all that stuff, and I created a song. And there it is. That's fucking wild.
No, that's a great way of putting it. You call it magic. I mean, it is kind of a magical feeling, you know. I created something and the intrinsic rewards from that, you know.
Yeah.
And then taking the next step, early in your songwriting journey and realizing like I could make this even better and learning
Yeah,
how to
right.
improve stuff and learning how, I mean, I think for years and years, like if I wrote something, I didn't like mess with it afterward.
Uh-huh.
It just was what it was. But then once you get into tearing stuff apart and improving it and
Hmm.
making different drafts of stuff, that's like a whole new thrill,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
at least
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
I think we're a little bit, him and I are a little bit yin and yang when it comes to that. And like, because um I can see that with Todd that he really is driven to be like, it feels good to make this better and do these things to it and everything, you know. And
Yeah.
like I'm just and it makes me realize, okay, well, it probably is better this way. I mean, if I have an opinion to the opposite that something's not making it better, I'll, obviously have to speak up. But um I think that process is makes things good.
right.
So,
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you do you have that can create a slippery slope in terms of like trying to do stuff for recordings, because you could just go in perpetuity trying to make this better and better and better. How do you shut it down to say, okay, this is good enough for what we need to record?
right.
That's a good point. And sometimes when something good shows up, you almost don't like trust that it's good because you didn't,
Right.
tear it up
Right.
first, right?
Right, right.
Right. Right.
But, I think after you do it for a while, you develop a sense of what's working and what's not. And even if something didn't take like
Yeah.
a lot of lifting
Yeah.
Hmm.
but it feels good. Like that very last song that we came up with, I think came out pretty fast and felt
Yeah,
good to everyone.
right.
Um, so you know, but I do, we read a lot of like rock books and bios and stuff, and I do feel like there are bands who get frozen, if in the studio or whatever, because
Yeah.
they just got to keep refining stuff and reworking stuff, and you can kind of kill the vibe
Yeah.
a bit. But for recording, I mean, we don't do home recording. We always go into the studio. So in that sense, we try to have stuff pretty airtight before we go in and the meter's running.
Right.
And
Right.
and
Right.
that and there are but there are even moments in the studio where we'll do one of us will come up with something as we're listening
Yeah,
back or
right.
add a part or so we try to be flexible right up until the last minute. But I don't know. I think we're pretty good about
You're right though.
trying to.
Like it's probably good that we have, you know, limited funds and limited time
Right.
because you know what I mean? That at least sets up that fence for us so that we're okay, we have to stay within this, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever been like so like if we got to a point where we're at the end of our recording, I don't think we've ever been in a place where where we thought, oh, we just didn't do enough with that song and we didn't have enough time and it's not very good
Yeah.
because of it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of in our own minds, we know the pressure's on in that sense. And you know, we feel like the pressure helps us create diamond.
There you go. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I'd agree.
reading, actually listening. My wife and I usually do like a daily walk, and so we're usually listening to books. And I was just listening to, it's the second book by Rob Halford. It's called
Oh,
Biblical, and it's more about the music business as opposed to his life. Confesses about his
oh,
life, and
Hmm.
which is a really good book too. But this one's more about the music business, and he was talking about
Hmm.
sort of the same thing in terms of like you need a little bit of that perspiration to make a like they felt as a band if something came out the first shot and it felt easy that
mhm.
probably something was wrong with it. Like we need to take a look at this and make sure it's okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, Brandon is usually good at identifying when I'm like subconsciously stealing something.
Oh, yep, yep. That's the thing. It either sounds like this song from the past or something that I've heard before. Or I'll just say, "Oh, this is reminding me of something." And then it'll take me like we'll play the song for 10 more minutes and then I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I figured it out."
And then we have to decide,
We have
is it
to
bad enough?
yeah.
Is it blatant enough to need addressing, or is it fine?
Right.
Right.
Like it is.
Is it a ripoff or is it just like influenced by that?
Yes,
Because
Yeah.
there's a
exactly.
big
Yeah,
difference.
big
Yeah, for
difference.
sure, for sure. Well, I think
What
after
does Rob Halford say? Does he have a lot of complaints about the music business?
no, well, so far no. I mean, he's pretty positive person. I mean, he
Hmm.
sees the necessary evil in lawyers. So he talks about lawyers because Jewish priest was sued and he was sued
All
uh,
right.
for a couple different things. And uh, overall, it sounds like it. He talks about the band and how they, at least right now, the part I'm listening to is about their songwriting and
Hmm.
the thing they
Hmm.
do and have done since their second album, which I find kind of shocking, is they don't have anything written before they go to the studio, and then they just kind of jam it out. Well,
Oh
obviously
wow.
That's wild.
later they've got their own studios and they can take all the time in the
Yeah.
world, right? Or
Hmm.
they have all the money in the world. But those early ones were like super tight budgets, but they just wrote it there. I'm like, really? I can't imagine.
Yeah, right.
That's not a bad way to do
Hmm.
it if it'll work, if you get good
Right?
results, for
Right.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Sitting at home by yourself is not always the most
No,
fun.
no, no, it's not.
What did Keith Richards say about the whatever the satisfaction riff or whatever? It was just in his head that one night or whatever.
Yeah, he says
Um,
it came to him in a dream.
yeah. So like think about that. What if he decided, oh, I need to tweak this and change it or whatever, you know?
Well, I think he was the one who didn't want it released as a single, I read.
Oh.
Oh
But
man.
then he got outvoted.
Well,
Thank
I,
goodness.
I remember hearing that story, and immediately thought, I have never dreamed of a riff or a lick in my life. Like, so clearly I don't have, Keith Richards' talent. Have you guys ever done that? Is it a song subliminally come into your mind when you were sleeping or something? You woke up and go, oh, here it is.
Not in a dream, but like even in thinking of Keith Richards when he says that, I'm wondering if it was kind of like a half sleep type thing and where he was less conscious, but I like completely asleep and in a dream. Are
Yeah,
you serious?
yeah,
Like give me some
Yeah, that's
lottery
odd.
numbers. Well,
right,
basically that was lottery numbers for
right,
him, but
Yeah, what is the phase of sleep where you're half awake?
Oh yeah,
Is that like
okay.
the Zeta phase?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
not REM, whatever's not
beta
REM.
wave or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I have had like interesting things come to me then, but I'm
Yeah, for
always too
sure.
tired to like get up and do anything with it.
Right.
And then it
Before
goes
I
away.
get out of bed, I'm like, the first thing I'm remembering waking up is like I'm singing a song, but it wasn't like I wasn't singing it in my dream though. But when I woke up, I'm like, I
Yeah.
got this song in my head.
Well, and I'm half asleep, so I always wonder, like, was it just some other song that I really like? Was it Jumping Jack
Yeah,
Flash? And I thought
Yeah.
it was something I wrote.
Right.
right.
Well,
Oh man,
whenever
this
I,
is
And then
amazing.
then you had to then you had to bring it to rehearsal so I could
Right,
hear it
you
and
could
be
tell
like, oh,
me.
that's Jumping Jack
Yeah,
Flash.
exactly.
anytime
Yeah.
I'm waking up from a dream or something, it's usually because I've lost my shoes or forgot, you know,
Right.
something's been lost. You know, my wife was always
Right.
like, you know, you always dream about losing something. So clearly I'm like concerned about making sure all my shit's together.
Yeah. Right.
That's true. Yeah, there's a meaning there.
Right.
What does that mean?
Great. Yeah. So, something I like to talk about or ask folks about is like their first experiences in music. And one of those is like, what was the very first album that you guys, each of you got, and what led to
Ooh,
that choice?
Full album. I grew up listening to my older brother's albums, but as far as getting my own music, the first thing I bought on my own was a 45 record of Prince Delirious, and it had this song Horny Toad on the other side that I thought was hilarious. Um, but then I like didn't buy a whole album until like cassette tapes were around.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy a whole album until I bought like it was like
Well, it
I
could be a
bought
cassette tape. You don't have to. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be vinyl,
Def
but
Leppard Pyromania and Michael Jackson Thriller. I bought
nice.
like right around the same time on cassette. So
Excellent.
Those are way better than mine. The first cassette I ever bought was the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack.
Excellent. Yes.
I don't think anyone would put that on, but
he
still listen
keeps
to
trying
Thriller and Pyromania though.
he
Yeah.
keeps trying to add these Quincy Jones like synth lines to all the
Right.
songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say who
It
did
also
the
had the Heat Is
Or
On,
Herbie
right?
Hancock.
It had
Yeah,
Aaron
that's what it was.
Bryan.
Yeah. What was that one song that was super popular then too? It was like it was like the theme song or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
It was by this guy called Harold Faltermeyer.
Oh,
All
right.
right.
He did the music for like Fletch and a bunch of other 80s movies
Oh,
too.
Oh,
Fletch.
really?
Fletch, that's a
Wow.
good that's a
He
good
did the Top Gun theme too.
Did
Really?
He was like a soundtrack master.
Jeez, learn something every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Harold Faltermeyer.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
But yeah, that was when super listening to like pop radio and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before rock came on the scene.
Yeah.
So what was the first concert that each of you went to?
Mine was New Edition at the Palace.
Whoa,
Yeah.
nice.
New Edition. Yeah.
Mine
So-
was oh, go ahead.
Well, I
No,
was
go
gonna
ahead,
say,
you.
like, so what led to you going to see New Edition?
At that time, I was like a friend of mine in what was it like middle school or junior high or whatever they called it where we lived. We were big into like R&B groups or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we were in vocal
That was the
music and it
time.
was yeah, vocal music and stuff. And he said, my dad's gonna take us to New Edition to the concert. So that was my
Nice.
first concert. Yeah.
Awesome.
How was it?
I loved it. I thought I mean the music was pretty much like they popped in a CD. There weren't any surprises, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But just the vibe of the audience and everything and stuff for the first time, it was cool, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mine was Bryan Adams, like mid 80s. It wasn't Reckless. It was the album after Reckless, which wasn't very good. But he played all of his Reckless tunes. So
Nice.
Oh, right.
and that's a record we still listen to too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good one. Awesome. Fantastic.
it
Where
was
was
cool.
that? Where was that?
I was at Joe Lewis.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Good old
Yeah.
Joe Lewis. Yeah.
Yes. Glad I got to go there a few times at least
Yeah.
Right.
for
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good shows. I saw Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray Vaughan there. at
Joe Lewis.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It was, yeah, right. That was shortly before Stevie Ray died. I think it was like
Uh,
maybe that winter before. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I saw AC/DC there and some
uh,
Metallica and Ozzy. Yeah, it was all good.
was Joe Lewis where Purple Rain Tour was, and it was like 11 nights or something? Or was that Kobo?
Ooh, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't know.
think it might have been Joe Lewis because I never saw Prince until he was at the Palace. It was like much later,
Joe
but
Lewis has like a crazy had a crazy thing in the 80s where bands, I think Journey did like 4 nights there or something, which
Really?
is like, imagine
Wow.
that now.
No, I can't
right.
imagine.
Or
Yeah,
Prince.
yeah.
Maybe they just didn't want to do the Silverdome, I guess, is the only thing I can think.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't know.
right. Yeah,
But it's, yeah, funny to think of a band hanging, staying in town for a week for shows.
yeah, yeah. That would have been incredible. It would
Right.
be.
Right.
They should bring that back. I think. If they, well, I guess you got to have the like number of people that actually want to go there, and then
Yeah.
honestly now the places are so big, right? So Little Caesars
Uh-huh.
Arena is huge, and you'd have to have like a massive following, or people that just want to come see the show again and again and again, which probably could happen with like somebody like Taylor Swift or something. But
Yeah, right.
Lady Gaga could probably do that. But
Who else could have played the Silver Dome? I mean, the Stones played there. Who
yeah,
else did? Was there other?
Back in the day, like
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin and The Who and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
yeah,
Wow.
I
So
think
there were definitely stadium shows back then, but
Yeah.
yeah.
it's weird. Like some bands would just endlessly camp out at Joe Lewis
Yeah,
or
right.
Yeah,
uh,
they
A
probably like
residency.
yes, exactly.
yeah better amenities maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Or they just didn't
the
have
green
the
room
big
was
enough
better.
stage or something. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
It's weird. I
Yeah.
work with a guy who saw The Who at the Silverdome, and I think he saw Led Zeppelin at the Silverdome too. And he's
Wow.
full of great stories. I'm constantly asking him. He loves to tell a story about how the climax of The Who's set was a single laser beam was like, shown above the heads of the crowd, and there was like an audible gasp from the crowd. Like, this is the wildest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Always makes me laugh when I hear it. But
I know.
I eat that stuff up for sure.
Yeah. Well, it is fun because, now some of the light shows and everything are just so amazing. And then when you think back to what you'd seen at what you thought were huge shows, and you're
All
like,
right.
it's so, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
it was okay. It's still cool, but, it's not like this crazy techno light show. I went to see uh, probably the most crazy light show ever was this band called Meshuggah. There's
Oh, yeah.
a
Oh, right. Yeah.
technical death metal band. But the light show was insane. And if anybody had like being close to epileptic would have been would
Yeah.
have had a problem because it was
No, all right.
the
I
music
I
itself is crazy, and then you get that light and like, oh my god, I felt like a little bit crazy.
excuse me. I felt that way at Nine Inch Nails, I think. Their most recent time they came through, it was like, man, I hope nobody has epilepsy.
Right, right, man, holy
I
cow.
always wonder how those bands with the elaborate lights and the stage fog and stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is great, but put these guys at the Lager House with one green light bulb,
Yeah,
and
right.
how would it be?
Yeah,
Right,
right.
right.
I'm sure it would still be great. I'm
Yeah,
not suggesting we're as good as Nine Inch Nails. I'm just saying,
yeah,
Right.
if you totally even the playing field,
Yeah, right.
I mean, it must have been great because clearly they like climbed their way up the ladder, right?
right,
At some
right.
point they were playing that stage too, but
Yeah, yeah.
lights definitely go a long way. It'd be nice to have like a lighting person, right?
I
It
know.
just makes
Well,
everything so much better.
let me tell you, there's so many times when I'm photographing a show at a local, pub, and I'm like, oh
Mhm.
my God, just some light, or anything but those stupid, like half the time there's that magenta glow from those LED lights. I don't know why magenta is the
Right.
default, but it looks
Right.
like
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, oh God, where's
Yeah.
an old school, like just actually just turn the room
Mhm.
lights on. Don't even put any fucking lights on because that
Right.
like it
Right.
We did
blows.
that at one show. I'm like, can we just turn the white lights on? And it did look better, I thought,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes there's
usually I'm
something to
too
be
busy
said
and
for
I
that.
forget.
Yeah, it's like it
Mhm.
just there's that old school element to that, because it is sort of like
Right.
some of those clubs that didn't really even have lights, right? Just
Right.
CBGB or something. It's like, we just
Yeah.
got some lights on, and the overhead lights. That's all you get. So
Right.
here you go.
Yeah.
Rock
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, can we get a house party vibe like my grandma's lamp, grandma's leg lamp is the only thing on or
Right.
something?
Yeah. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
And the hazer or whatever makes a big difference too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
another pet peeve of mine as a photographer. I'm like, man, don't get crazy with that fog, because
really?
yeah, forget the drummer then, because you're not going to get a good shot of him.
Right.
He's going to be he's already in the back, right? The drummers
Right.
are sitting back there. You're trying to get a good picture of him, through the rest of the band.
Right.
And then if you have fog, it's just like, oh, well, sorry, dude. Maybe I'll get some silhouettes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that machine is just going
Oh, I know.
too
Yeah,
for
right.
5 straight minutes. Like,
Yeah.
man,
And you're like, who has got
the
the
effects.
control?
Yeah. Who has got the money to keep that thing going like that?
Yeah. Ay,
that would be great. I hope one day we can do that. That would be a dream.
Oh,
We'll see.
well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on Fans with Bands. I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
That is, pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
I'm a no pineapple on pizza. I just am. I don't like fruit on my pizza. That's all.
Yep.
That's all.
I just had a slice before we got here. No
Really?
joke.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what? I would say no, but as long as there's ham there too to
Yeah.
balance it out, it's
Yeah.
the savory and sweet together.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It's not my favorite, but I'm okay with it. I'm good with it.
Yeah. It's
Is that
not.
fair?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all, relative. Everybody's got their own choices. I
Right.
know there's some people who love pineapple. I personally am just not a sweet and savory person. Just that combo, even like sweet and sour or all that, it's either savory or it's sweet. I don't like them to be together.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Pizza in general is amazing. If
Yeah,
I'm
hell
only
yeah.
given a pizza and it's got pineapple on it, I will still eat it. Okay. I'm
For
saying
sure.
if I have a choice though,
Right.
there's so many other toppings I'd put on before pineapple. That's all.
Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, I'm with you. It would be like, if that's all we got, that's fine, because pizza's pizza and I'm eating it.
Yes.
Right.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, Todd, Brandon, thank you again so much for being on Fans with Bands.
Well, this is great. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Chuck. We appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Many thanks to Todd and Brandon from all over the shop for joining me on this episode of Fans of Bands. I dig the high energy rock of this band. Their most recent EP, called Every Ounce of Energy, checks all the boxes. We talked about how the band came to be and how they came up with the name. No, they are not OSHA inspectors. Along the way, we talked about first albums, concerts, and of course, pizza. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.